Hey, what's up, everybody? So now we're in what we call First Days Lasting Ways, and this chapter, this component of our course, focuses on the idea of laying a strong foundation. That your next step can be your best step, but at the end of the day, you never have to recover from a great start. I found that in the first days of school, you can have lasting ways of success. I am a disciple, so to speak, of Harry Wong. My work was actually featured in his latest book, and I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you that the concepts and ideas that I'm sharing in First Days Lasting Ways are really a result of me reading his strategies, his philosophies, and implementing them into what I consider to be a very unique band approach. So much of teaching has no thing to do with what you're teaching. And that's what First Days Lasting Ways is all about. So for this segment of the course, what I'd like you to do is to look over the First Days Lasting Ways slide. And then after you look at that, then I want you to go back and give me a reflection or an overview of what your big takeaways were from this. Do you see value in it? What were the standouts for you in this? What were your big takeaways? I'm always curious to see what teachers see for the first time. We'll definitely discuss this as we continue to embark on this section of our course, which is basically setting the stage, setting that environment, setting the culture. And that starts with creating a stage of high performance for you, both you and your learners. But again, you never have to recover from a great start. So check out First Days Lasting Ways, and let's be prepared to provide some discussion, some analysis, and some feedback, so to speak, on what you find here. Trust, it's at the center of everything. And that trust, I believe, is a result of what happens in the first days. This is called First Days Lasting Ways. And it's just a journey of taking you through what it means to create more than just a classroom, but a band experience, a classroom experience. So when we talk about Mr. Smith's band experience, it's not just the lessons, it's an experience that lasts for a lifetime, that's rooted and grounded in critical first day foundational trainings that we're going to share here. A few quick questions. Am I in the right class? So I need you to understand the things they want to know have little to nothing to do with what you teach. Am I where I'm supposed to sit? If you can satisfy these questions, such as who is this teacher as a person, then all of a sudden it begins to bring clarity to the situation. Where can music take you? And as you can see, I use visuals to show the students not just who I am, but who they can be. Will these teachers treat me fairly? The answer is yes, always. The next question, will this teacher treat everyone the same? The answer is simple. No. And students get appalled at this at first, but I begin to teach them who you are and how you're treated is a direct result of who you are. We share with them what they're going to be doing this year in band. We share with them how they're going to be great at the 3 Ps: participation, practice, and performance. Keeping things simple. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. And of course, the code of conduct. I call it the code of cooperation. This is a powerful tool. I use this along with some other elements in the first 10 minutes of class. I call it Win by 10. This is basically a GPS, guidelines, procedures, and systems that help direct us to success. Number 1 is a guideline, follow directions. I simply tell the kids I'm a boss until you become a boss, so you can make boss moves. Number 2, raise your hand to speak. It's a procedure. Raise your hand. I got 2 ears, but I can only hear one person clearly. Number 3, stay in your seat. That's a guideline. It's not a hostage situation. If you need to get up, do so, but raise your hand. At any time, they can get up. Be prepared. Number 4, another guideline. Just simply showing them the value of what we're doing in the here and the now. It's so important that these are tied back to applicable tools. Respect property of others, that's another guidelines. And what I do is I share with students how their instrument is their story and nobody has a right to mess with their story. Treat others with respect, letting them understand you may not like everything that I say, but anything that I say is to help you be better. And then finally, gum, candy, food, or drinks are not allowed. You notice all those things I share were guidelines, and there's consequences to the guidelines, procedures, and the overall systems. I share with them what they can expect if they follow the guidelines, procedures, and systems. It's so important kids know what to expect from a positive standpoint. Of course, we all know the negatives. We hear that all the time. But I let them know that this is no different than the smart devices they use. Everything has procedures, everything. How we enter room is a procedure. If we want things to work successfully, we have to work it. And I begin to outline with them exactly what the parameters are. And we share this over the course of a few days, over the first days of school. What to do if you're tardy. It seems so simple to me a lot of times, and maybe you're reading this and it seems simple to you. But how many times have we assumed kids knew what it meant when we said a certain directive or a certain thing, but it was never really outlined? I explained to them how we start class, how we move around the room, how I need to get your attention. Think of it almost like a class orientation. Just spelling out, okay, this is how it's going to work in here if somebody calls from the front office to check you out. Because a lot of times, too, kids will bring their prior experience into your room. And I think it's so important that we dictate the narrative and that we don't allow them to dictate the narrative solely. Simple things, the paper heading, all these different things, small things done well stacked on top of each other. So many things in our classroom go awry because we left it up to interpretation. And I want to challenge you today to consider all the things that you want done in your classroom and ask, do I have a set of guidelines, procedures, and systems for these things? You would never go somewhere without a GPS, not to a place you've never been before. So why start the school year that you've never been before without a GPS? Special procedures, I say this one for last, things that don't always happen every day. And then it's so important that we share with them how we truly feel about them. Now, these things overall point to what our vision, intentionality, and consistency is. We've talked about it in our prior set here. It starts with being sound. It starts with the XYZ and vision versus ambition. Vision feeds others. Ambition feeds yourself. And it's so important to ask yourself, what am I operating with? Do I have a map, a management action plan? Do I know my instructional academic matrix? And then, we won't get into it in this segment, but sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. We'll talk more about that later. All these things help to create your stage: vision, mission, GPS, which is the code of cooperation, and the instructional academic matrix, which I call the I am. GPS and the I am are truly powerful tools. Vision, I wrote down here, their vision, for me, is their future starts here through music. The statement, our mission statement, you can see right there, to provide a quality musical education experience for all our students, right? What is your mission? What is your mission for your program? And then, as we said before, the code of cooperation. The code of cooperation, these are the tools that help us direct the behavior and create the culture and the climate of our classroom each and every day. This is our GPS, instructional academic matrix. Stop hiding the lesson plans. I literally spell out what each grade level should be doing each month. And then that provides a level of consistency. That's how I win the audience, with what I call win by 10, code of cooperation, and the rules of engagement. We'll talk more about this in subsequent videos and subsequent study. But today it's about creating that classroom experience with habit stacking. Habit stacking, small things done well, stacked on top of each other over time. I want you to go back and look at the First Day's Lasting Ways segment of this video. And go through and create your own. Create your own. Thank you so much. Find out more on the website, smithjr.com.